Okay. I would like to call this meeting to order. Roll call. Stephanie Barnes. Gretchen Casarodi.
Present.
Bonnie Zahn Griffin.
Present.
Gina Lyon. Present. Randy B. Funk.
Present.
Jessica Peters.
Present.
Jennifer Sullivan. Jay Wilson. Genesis.
Here.
Okay, we need adoption of the agenda.
Madam Chair, Vice Chair, what do you say when it's a substitute? Would like to move that we approve the agenda.
Seconded.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, approval of the minutes from the May 10th, 2018 regular meeting. We have an
Madam Vice Chair, I move that we approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
we have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, on to new business, committee reports. And the Strategic Plan Committee, they didn't,
Yeah, you guys didn't meet today. It was my full intention to bring you guys your packets because the committee had sectioned out which commissioner would review which part of the strategic plan for comments that then they, as the committee, would kind of consolidate and review and go over. I forgot to print those, so I will email those to you. I'll mail you a Word document and a PDF document. Those weren't going to be due until I think we had said end of August. So there's plenty of time to review your section of the strategic plan. Okay. Sorry, I didn't print those.
Public Art Committee, Jessica, would you like to report?
Yeah, so we met on May 24th, and we discussed the mural, which is now finished. We decided to hold a dedication, which will be next Monday, June 18th at 5 o'clock. And we would like to ask the commission, the full commission, to approve an NTE of $150 for the signage. And Hillary, do you have a sample of the sign?
Oh, yes.
And we also discussed, started the process for choosing locations for public art for the coming year. And that's sort of an ongoing process, so we'll report back when we have a final list.
So the dedication is going to be at 5 p.m. next Monday?
Next Monday, yes, June 18th.
And do we need a motion to approve, not to exceed $150 for the sign?
Mm-hmm.
Madam Vice Chair, I would like to make a motion that we approve a not to exceed of $150 for the sign.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Do you want
Aye.
to see the sign first? Do you have a picture of it?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Pulling it up.
Okay, I'll wait.
This is the text of the sign. And then this is a horrible version. I was trying to put it on a Word document and wouldn't rotate. So this is where it is on the wall. It's on the closest part of the sidewalk. The reason why it's covering that barbed wire is because that's 48 inches in the middle of the sign high. So that's ADA compliant with where signage should be. It's the same size as your other existing public art signage.
Okay.
And here's the,
Okay, we have
Thank you for
a,
your help with that, Hillary.
Yeah.
That's great.
okay, we have a motion and a second.
who seconded that?
Me.
Okay, thanks,
Yeah.
Randy.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Piece, like,
Do we have anything to report on the Events and Outreach Committee?
they did say piece.
Yes. Hillary?
I'm sorry.
All right, yeah. When did we meet last? What was the?
Oh, my goodness.
You know, at the coffee shop.
I can't remember the day.
Do
It
I
was
need
a Friday.
It was a Friday.
Recent Friday.
Do you remember?
It was like May 23rd,
It was a little bit ago. Yeah.
5th?
Maybe.
That was a Friday.
25th.
Sounds, yeah, probably the 25th. We meant the 25th. Yeah, so I did a phone call with Lowe's, and they were telling me that just solid wood, just like, you know, just deck wood would be the best choice probably for what we were planning. So, for the big draw event that we were planning, so. And what was the size on that again?
It said 3 by 4.
Okay, they said they could just cut it for us. And we could just, you know, go in and get it. So they said it wasn't too expensive. I didn't have the price, but I'll find out. I'll email you.
Okay.
But they said the deck wood would be the best choice overall for what we were planning, especially if it's going to be outdoors. So, which it will be, right? Yeah.
Well, we're painting it outdoors, but then it would be
Yeah.
displayed indoors.
They said if you're going to paint it outdoors, then it's the deck paint, the wood deck would be the best choice, for like deck wood.
Okay.
It's a thin.
We
one.
don't have to approve all of the quote today since we're
Yeah.
going to have a couple more meetings. So if you
Sure.
get that final
Yeah.
product and
Just wanted to share information.
yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's it.
Was there anything else to report on the whole committee meeting? Is there anything else?
So we're doing the chalk art again, and
Oh, right.
we've gotten quotes for the chalk, the supplies that we need for that. And Hillary's putting together a nice brochure-type booklet of the Art Week events. And I didn't see Hillary, we're still doing the art drop, right? Yes. Okay.
That's just on the back page.
Oh, okay.
The committee had a couple different conversations around art drop on whether or not to make it just one day or to make it, you know, focused on 2 days. But the real intent around those conversations was we want to make sure that art is being distributed really throughout the week, so people have different opportunities. So it's not just like whoever's available. It's not like family goes out and gets all of the work at once, you know, if it's a big family, that they could just collect all the pieces that are out there. So part of the, what I'm trying to attempt in the marketing on the booklet, and which I'll try to repeat on Facebook and on Instagram, is that not only for the people looking for art, but for the people hiding art, that the intention is that art can be found throughout the week. So if you're hiding art and if you're looking for art, first of all, only take one piece, and then if you're hiding art and you have a lot of art to share, maybe consider sharing it on 2 different days if you're available to do that, rather than one big dump, because we'd like people to be able to have time to find art throughout the week and not just count on one day. I didn't see any art that was left over at all in the last year. So the issue is definitely that it's dropped and then picked up so suddenly that only one person knew that it ever existed. So we're trying to kind of reiterate that in marketing. I need to ask Mayor Tammy, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to include, if you pick up more than one piece of art, it will make the mayor sad. So don't do that, because it will make her sad. So I'll check with her and share that little tidbit as well, because that's been an issue in the past, is people collecting more than one piece.
Last year, when my husband and I were distributing some of the art for one of the artists, she had a lot. It was jewelry, and we ran out of places to find put them. And so we distributed them over a couple of days, just because there was so much. And it was fine. It worked fine. So. Is that it for?
I don't have anything else. Hillary, do you?
I don't have anything else. I will try to get the printed materials prepared so that you guys could see at least the general concept and hopefully more of the actual scheduled events at your next meeting. But we can, I think, approve the not to exceed for all of these supplies in July. I just estimated on the big draw type event materials, so I'll wait till you have your final.
And
And
3x4, right?
mhm.
Okay.
And then the printed marketing materials, the brochures that Bonnie mentioned, I got a couple quotes on those, and that $300 max is for 400 brochures. Another place that I had gotten a quote from was twice as much with a lesser quality paper. So I'll make sure to get another quote before your next meeting as well, so I have 3 solid quotes to go by. But that seems like a screaming hot deal. So I'll follow up with you guys on that.
Okay, so at the end of fiscal year, is this for you? Is this yours, Hillary?
Yeah, it will be me, sorry. So it's getting close to the end of the fiscal year. Normally, around this time of year, I ask you guys how much you think you need for budget amendments. You have received donations. Let me pull up your financial report. Oh, or not, hold on. Did I not include? Oh, it's right here in front of my face. Okay, here's your summary. So you guys currently have in your remaining budget, although some of this will be expended, like all your performing art budget's going to be gone because of Concerts on Broadway and the Youth Theater partnership. But for example, we had planned for $3,000 for other events for Dairy Days and Art Week. Well, that was going to be split in half, but we didn't do Dairy Days Art Show this year. So that's $1,500 that you currently have budgeted for, but you haven't utilized. So I don't think you need to request spending authority for these donations because you still have funding available, if that makes sense. That's my summary. But if you guys think that you need a budget amendment from this other $1,400-ish, that would be the time to voice that. I think with $13,000 left in your budget, you're likely safe. It doesn't look good to ask for a budget amendment when you're not going to spend everything already in your budget. Again, like some of those other expenses, those were for non-event specific marketing materials, and most of your marketing materials that are expected will be for Art Week. So if you guys wanted me to, like, say, promote the gallery or something, or make standard kind of promotional things for the rest of the fiscal year, we can use that $1,300 for general promotions for the Arts Commission. So just, as your staff, I don't think you need a budget amendment, but I do think that you need to consider how you're going to spend the rest of your funds so that it's not taken away from you in the future.
Vice Chair, where did we leave off in discussing the radio promotions, which is the thing that stands out to me, that we sort of said, let's see where we fall because of the cost, because it wasn't budgeted for, but that we saw that as a potential opportunity to promote some of our events like Art Week, in which case those expenses, I assume, would fall under other events as budgeted, but that the cost of the radio ads was like $1,000, right?
We would have to pull up her quote again, but Yeah, I don't think it was that much.
Was the
Radio
plus?
ads, yeah.
Okay.
I think you're around the right ballpark. Let me pull up information. And again, we could even go back to her and ask about generalized radio ads as well, if you did want to just promote the fact that you exist, because a lot of people still don't know that the art gallery exists or that what the Arts Commission does. So that's another potential option. Sorry. Too many buttons. So that's for Dairy Days. It was $1,500. And for Concerts on Broadway, Wineglass Arts Development is doing radio advertising through scripts. They were able to get that same deal that she presented to us. Yeah, Art Week was $1,000.
Art Week was $1,000.
These dates were based off of having Art Week the following week, though. Slightly different.
I also remember her saying that there was a shelf life for the deal, but that she would rerun it if we were still interested later. But even still, so that wouldn't require us to have the budget amendment. It's just the second part of what you're describing of thinking ahead. I would suggest we think about that we saw that as an opportunity, but not the funds. Turns out we would have the funds. It makes sense to revisit that and get an updated quote.
I can ask her for an updated quote and bring that back to you guys in July also, so you guys have it. Comfortable with that?
So do you need to have a vote on this, or?
No, I would need a vote for, I would need a motion on the final expense, but I can get a quote on my own without a motion.
And then
Oh.
what happens to the revenue if we don't amend the budget? It just rolls into general fund?
It rolls into general fund, yeah. And then essentially, when we present to city council, I say like these funds is $14,054 or $1,554 offset other expenses that the Arts Commission had. So it does roll back into general fund, but it doesn't necessarily. Well, I don't know. I don't think it looks bad against the Arts Commission that they received donations that they didn't expend. Yeah. It's just something to be mindful of, definitely when budgeting in the future. Yeah. So,
Well, some of the other conversations we've had about soliciting donations and things, is this an opportunity as well to go and ask what expenses do we have in terms of supplies or other things that we could use those funds for so that they can still be applied to our projects? And if we can't spend the money we have budgeted, then we certainly don't need to be seeking outside sponsorship of certain things. Do we have supply needs for Initial Point for our own equipment or?
yeah, I had mentioned to Bonnie, so in a year or two ago when we had a student art show up in the gallery, we talked about the complications of hanging student art shows because they're not framed. It ends up being a lot of my staff time and or the teacher's time to try to prepare artwork in a way that it can be presented and hung. So one of the things we talked about kind of off the cuff, I think it was about a year ago, was the potential of purchasing frames that could have different size mats, so you could frame student artwork for shows and then just reuse those every year and change out the mat sizes as you need. I had talked to Bonnie recently about that idea if we did have extra funds that we would like to spend. And I think if we went that route, I still don't know if you would need a budget amendment. I mean, you definitely could order enough frames that you could fill the whole gallery, and enough mat boards that you could easily swap out what you need for different size of artwork. I don't think I think it was around $2,000 for frames, for enough frames for the whole gallery, for large frames, so that they could fit a varied size of artwork.
It depends on what type of frame you get, of course.
Yeah, and I think I'd looked at Blick wood, like kind of mahogany gallery frames. So it would be a really stunning show, but it'd be an investment for sure. And then it would also, when it's not a student gallery, it would be a storage, logistical issue. But we could find storage in probably the clerk's office basement area. If you guys, if you guys are interested in that type of idea, I can work with Bonnie and get a more specific quote on that. Gretchen, was your question about not only your current remaining budget, but also your received donations from this year?
Yeah, kind of. If you're
Let's cover
asking
both.
for, if we're going to make a budget amendment, and that part of that is also understanding what we have yet to spend for the year, this is the time to talk about it, sounds like.
I think budget amendments are due at the end of the month. If you guys would like to approve a budget amendment for not to exceed 1454, you can do that now so that I could submit that budget amendment. If you're happy with the idea of that going towards gallery frames that could be used for student artwork. But that was my only thought from a discussion from years past. I don't know what else you guys would like to consider possibly using those funds for.
What other expenses for Art Week are we not doing because we had approached it with thinking just about assuming 1,500? If you're saying 3,000 is what we budgeted for 2 events, so you had a budget of 1,500 for Art Week. Is there additional incentives or prizes or rewards for participation, or things that we could do to continue to?
I think the only thing was the consideration for the brochure, what that would cost.
Mm-hmm. And then you could do additional Facebook sponsored posts and Instagram sponsored posts. 2 years ago for Art Week, we did T-shirts for commissioners, and I think we did them for the kids that participated in the chalk art competition also.
That's nice.
So that's something else you could consider doing. I don't think I can pull up how much those shirts cost 2 years ago, although that cost might change. And we also have twice as many artists now doing chalk stuff, so it'll be different because of the quantity.
The prices go down from
As you increase quantity, yeah. But going through scripts, for instance, is was $1,000 in itself. So we'd also, I need to follow up with Jennifer, but we'd also talked about what types of performers we wanted to have. We talked about maybe having youth performers. Also, since it's kind of a youth-centric chalk art competition, have other youth performers out there. But when you get into that, we would need someone to have a sound system, so either borrowed or rented equipment, and someone to man that equipment. And that could potentially be a cost if we don't have someone in our network that would lend us that equipment and run it for us.
I can get that.
Okay.
Yeah, I can get someone with equipment stuff. We don't need a stage or anything like that, do we? Okay, then yeah, I'll get back to you. I have plenty of people I can talk to.
So what I'm hearing, though, is that with the changes and having a full 3,000, we, in theory, could expend the full 3,000 to Art Week, in which case we would need a budget amendment to accept the 1454 to purchase frames for IPG4. Do I understand that correctly?
I think potentially. I can't remember what the numbers I was looking at for frames, because you guys hadn't spent anything from your arts development line either, and that's $2,000. So if frames and mats, and, you know, D-rings were
Oh, I see.
$2,000, I mean, you still have that
Okay.
as well.
I love that idea. I think that makes total sense to do. And having gone and participated, yes, it's a challenge.
Right.
would
It'd be
make
a lot
this a lot
easier to
easier.
have a,
Wonderful.
Yeah, and can be reused for years to come, so.
We entertain a motion?
Not sure what we
Oh,
would
with the-
quite yet.
Do we need to make a motion on it?
I think, was Hillary going to get a quote for us about how much that would cost?
So here's the thing. So yes, I need to get a quote from you guys for how much all that's going to cost, but the budget amendment is due to finance before you guys are going to meet again.
Okay.
So you're talking about potentially your motion being a motion to approve a budget amendment for not to exceed 1454 for, I would think that would go towards the IPG frames for student artworks. And then that way, if your motion is a not to exceed, then if between the $2,000 from arts development, if you only needed $400 or $500 from that other, what's been donated, then you would lose some of your donated funds, but you've given me authority to make that budget amendment request.
So we need a motion.
I feel like
Potentially.
it sounds like we can expend, and we have, as far as the 13,000 left in the year, we know some of it's already committed. We can make the adjustments on what else is in there. I would say I'm kind of indifferent then in terms of reopening it for the 1454. It's not a huge sum of money. So if it just rolls over and we don't spend it, if there's no need, but I'm hearing that the needs we have can still be accommodated in our current budget. So I don't feel strongly, unless people are saying, oh yes, there's other things we wanted to do to reopen for $1,400.
Do you think the frames were more than 2,000?
And I can't.
You know what, let me look. Hillary,
brain
what
is a
size
lot-
were we looking at? What size were you thinking?
I think I was looking at,
Like 16 by
I
20?
think I was looking at 18 by 24. I was looking at really large sizes. And I looked at, I think 36 of that size, because that would be, right, 9 on each wall. There's 4 walls.
Well, that size, I think if you hung even 12 on each side, 6 on each quarter, would be a sufficient number up there.
Yeah, I don't think 9 would fit, right? 9 in each section. I think that's what you were talking about, but that seems like too much.
Yeah,
18 by 24s, Hillary. If you have 6 of those on a quarter,
maybe I was looking at a smaller size. I can't remember. Next was 16 by 20. Then I found a way to, if you get whatever 20 map boards that are 16 by 20, you could cut some of them into smaller. Oh, that's what I'd done. I'd looked at varied sizes of art frames, because I could make more use of the mat board. If you cut out the middle of a 16 by 20, it could be used again for a whatever 8 by 10 or whatever. Big mat board.
So this is Jerry's Artorama, which is, they're comparably priced to Blick. They have their gallery frames, 18 by 24 on sale for $35. Just, 35. No, that's without matting. It's just the frame.
35 each.
35 each. That's pretty cheap for that size. For a wood frame.
We were saying we'd need how many of them?
Well, if you did 6 in each quarter, you would have 24.
That's $140 right there. So I think what you have remaining in your budget, you don't need to ask for a budget amendment.
Okay.
So we can continue to explore this and get you guys a finalized quote with some more options.
Okay. I'm happy.
Madam Vice Chair. This is me. Not regarding this, but you had mentioned shirts. So if you guys do decide to do shirts, I think if you went with a white shirts are, I know, way cheaper. And I know you were trying to stay with the Meridian colors, but they're like, blah. This is the Arts Commission. I think like a white shirt with maybe a student done art that says Meridian Art Week, really cool, even if it's only like black, even if it's just one color. Full color would be awesome, but that's expensive. I think it would be less expensive and
They're deep.
way more awesome. Just saying.
Like
So that's
that.
if you guys decide to do shirts. Just think about that.
I'm so glad you said that, because I think being artists, we need something that has art on it. Yes, I
Right.
agree. Thank you.
I feel like it's boring.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I am all for it. Anything else with the budget items? Hillary?
I don't think so. Can't even remember where that was. Nope, it was just review your budget, talk about budget amendments. No budget amendments, great.
We don't need to take action if the consensus is we're not opening the budget or amending the budget request. Great.
Okay, traffic box art reps.
Traffic box art reps. So you guys had talked about in July of last year, almost a year ago, how you would like your next boxes to be wrapped to be In Good Company and Northern Lights. My question for you guys had just generally said, we like these also, but you didn't say like motion to approve the expense for those two also additional wraps. So my question for you, also since you have new commissioners, is would you still like to go with those two artworks as your next wrapped pieces? Or do you want to review the repository and select additional pieces, so on and so forth? I'm sorry, it was,
We see them?
Randy B, did you want something?
Oh, yeah. Can we see them? Do you have them?
I'm trying to pull them up
Oh,
right
okay.
now. Be faster to just go online. Okay, so it's called Northern Nights, I'm sorry, is Callie McGee down here in the right-hand corner. The other one was In Good Company, this one here, by Laura Yeager. And since she was added to the repository, she was also in the gallery. I don't know if you guys saw her show up there. Right. So if you guys would like to make a motion to approve these two to be, for us to start working on agreements and reach out to the artists and approve the expense of wrapping those, we can. If you'd like to approve additional works, we can. If you'd like to table it until next time, we can.
And then
We can't scroll up and down.
How strongly do the new commission members feel about having input on this?
Well, I'm the only one. I won't speak for Jay and Jennifer, but.
Too late.
I'm fine with moving ahead with the ones that were already chosen.
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
Me too. I like those. Really
We can
good.
always select additional ones at future meetings with the new commission, other new commissioners.
Are we getting ready to do some more wraps, or, I mean, why is this coming up now?
Because you hadn't talked about it for a year, essentially. Yes, you guys have funding to do more wraps if you'd like to do more wraps. Originally, I wanted this to be talked about 2 meetings ago, and we had to table it. I brought it up then because our traffic box vinyl vendor agreement ends at the end of July, or July 27th or something. So at this point, we probably can't get these wrapped on that same agreement. There'd likely not be time to coordinate everything that needs to be coordinated to get those wrapped by July 27th. But they can be wrapped either with that same vendor if they return the lowest quote again, or with a new vinyl vendor. So we can have the agreements completed and on deck ready for whenever we have a new vendor in the end of July.
So do you need a motion?
Yes. The current cost for you guys to wrap a traffic box is about $950. Might just be safe to approve a not to exceed of $2,000 to wrap these 2 pieces. $300 goes to the artist as a stipend, and then the rest of the money goes towards the installation.
Madam Vice Chair, I move that we approve a not to exceed cost of $2,000 to wrap the 2 pieces that were chosen for traffic boxes in the coming year.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
So that next item under traffic box wraps is your vinyl vendor agreement, which I just kind of referenced. I attached the draft request for quotes for you guys to review. If you have any proposed changes to that request for quotes, now would be the time so that I can get this prepared and sent out. Again, if I can get it sent out, even as early as tomorrow, that'd be great, so that we have as little of gap in time between one vendor and the next contract. So the draft request for quotes is here. I pretty much took the same request for quotes from last year. I updated my title and my location because those have changed, and the date of everything. Biggest thing I think you guys would be concerned about, or that legal might be concerned about, is this sentence here. The Meridian Arts Commission intends to wrap at least 15 boxes between August 8, 2018 and July 2021. When we first did this request for quotes, this said intends to wrap 5 boxes, and it was for 1 year. So essentially this quote can last for 3 years. So I included 3 years worth of boxes, and generally that has been max intention, is to wrap 5 boxes per year. And then the that you would be concerned with is probably in the scope. Did everybody already read this? If I'm just jabbering, tell me to stop. Oh, well, the other change, I had asked, again, quantity was for 5. I just asked for 1, since really we can just multiply that by however many boxes we do. And here's the scope. Oh, and on this, I included that on item 4, 1.4, the vendor will install the vinyl wraps at each project site, including but not limited to large silver and small white Ada County Highway District traffic control boxes. I need to talk to our current vendor about this to make sure that they read that requirement, because that was something that came up because they couldn't do it. They were struggling to coordinate with ACHD to wrap the small boxes, so it would be something expected of them in the next batch, because you guys are going to eventually run out of big boxes, and you might want to consider wrapping at least the small boxes in the downtown area.
Do we need any kind of motion on this?
I would just want a motion to approve the release of this request for quotes. And then also, if you guys know of any additional, so for quotes, it's such a low dollar amount, state requirements it doesn't require that we do a formal RF or request for proposals or request for qualifications, but we should get 3 quotes generally. I'll send it. I've got a list of like 6 or 7 vendors that I've sent it to before, but if you guys know additional vinyl vendors you want me to send it to, I can do that. I'll post it on our website page, but I don't know how many people are really checking there for this type of stuff. So the easiest way for me to contact vendors is for you guys to tell me who they are and that they exist, and I'll send it out. I just did a BCC last time I did this, sent it to everybody at once. The request for this paperwork just basically makes it easier to compare apples to apples from the various vendors. I have also since talked to City of Nampa and City of Eagle about who their vendors are, so I can add those to our list as well.
Vice Chair, I think the changes look really good, and it seemed like it was a pretty seamless. I don't remember there being problems. So what with the reservation around the quantity, I'm not sure I understand that that's something to pay attention to. Just drawing our attention to it, did you mean? Or that it's potentially concerning?
No, just drawing your attention to it as a change. The last time I did this, I had asked for a quantity of 5, and so it's a difference. Essentially the same thing as before. I think what we might do last year, or the last time we did this, we did a 1-year agreement with the vinyl vendor, and then we ended up extending that. The first time we had to extend it, we just extended, I think, 2 years, because we're like, well, we got this vendor. We don't want to do this every single year. If it went well the first year, it'd be fine. And we could always, if something disastrous happened, I think our agreement allows us that out. The way this quote is written, too, is that we could potentially have like a backup vendor also if we needed. It says that we can use other vendors somewhere in here. So it essentially establishes a very short roster of vinyl vendors for us to call on.
So with all that, I would like to make a motion that we approved the updated proposal. Request for, yes, whatever it's called, this document that's on our screen. The invitation for quotation for the traffic box vinyl wrap fabrication and installation.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, so reports, liaison reports. Gretchen, you are up, performing arts.
Thank you. I don't have that much to report. I hope you all were able to attend the Kleiner Day concert with the Meridian Symphony. And just an invitation to see the Treasure Valley Children's Theater will be performing Seussical Kids out here on the plaza on June 29th and 30th, right outside the doors. So hopefully we can have some commissioners come and support them and a super cute production.
What time is that?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. Tickets, do you need tickets or is it free?
It's available to the public on the plaza. I could probably send that to the full commission then too over email, since we don't have everybody here.
Okay. Initial Point Gallery, Bonnie.
So the June opening was very well attended. There was probably at least 60 people that came. It was a great opening. There's three 2D artists on the wall, I think, and then and it was all watercolor, and then there was a glass artist fusion. So it's a very nice exhibit. I don't know if there was any sales, not while I was there.
I haven't been asked to put any dots up, so not that I know of.
That's it. And I don't know, Hillary, have you checked to see how our call to artists is progressing?
Oh, you know, I checked on that. It was actually like 2 weeks ago I checked on it, and we had one applicant. I'm actually surprised that we had one applicant because we get most of our applications like the week that they're due.
Right.
But I will make another Facebook post about applying for that, since it's easy to follow a link. And I will try to share that with you guys, and either in a message or some way, or tag you in a comment or something, so you can share it with more people too. I've also had people call me and ask me about it, so I know that there are others interested in applying that just haven't applied. I look forward to that process using online juried shows. I haven't heard anybody moan or groan about going through that website yet, so that's good.
That's it.
Thank you. Okay, approval of the monthly financial report.
I'm sorry I didn't highlight these, and that they're so tiny. So since your last meeting, I don't think you've actually had any additional donations. These ones were from April. It's saying it's 2 pages, but why can I not get to the second page? Okay, hold on. This one should have some new expenses on it, so let me pull it up. On the second page. So you had a Treasure Valley Children's Theater partnership payment, an artist award. This was your 3D artist from Framed, and then the final installation, or the final payment for the mural installation. I can pull up really quickly your summary on here too, which will be easier than you already saw it. Currently, in your traffic box wraps funds, you have $4,651. A portion of that which will go towards the student wraps, and then a portion of which will go to those 2 additional wraps. All I need is a motion to approve the monthly financial report, unless there are any questions.
Just need a motion.
I need a motion to approve.
So Madam Vice Chair, I would like to make a motion to approve the monthly financial report.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Admin report, Hillary?
Oh my goodness, why did I do it this way? I tried to include your guys' host schedule also, and all of these are flyers or applications for the youth components of Art Week. So I can run through this really quickly. I can just read through it. I tried to list, and I will try to list moving forward, your guys' upcoming committee meetings as much as I'm aware of them. That way, in case you guys have a reason to meet before a listed time, you can just let me know. I listed here, for instance, that the Events and Outreach Committee may need to meet again before July 12th, so we can coordinate that on our own. Mural campaign, that mural is complete. Final payment issued, sign was ordered and installed, and the dedication time and date is listed here for your reference. And then, since I put this out, Gina responded and she grabbed the August reception, so the only day missing a host for the gallery is December 4th. And that has Joyce Green, Joy Lisk, Lisa Bowers, and Linday Pottery during that month. And they will actually be a December and January exhibit because the winter months have been hard to get change outs in. So just so you guys have a copy of it, here's this. I have since added Gina, like I said. Here's the flyer that I had sent out to West Ada, their art coordinator that she sent out to other schools for the chalk art competition, and then very similar for the film competition. Since I sent this to her, I forgot to mention, we have a sponsor that's sponsoring a prize for the first place group. So it's Northwest Motion Pictures. They're sponsoring $50 for first place and a 1-hour pre-project consultation with whoever wins the first place prize. And I talked to Nick, and we're doing that at Unbound. Another thing.
Didn't know that.
Okay. And that's open to middle school and high school students, and that's individuals or up to a team of 6, although I suspect that most of these applications will be from individuals. We've already had some people talk to us about it being a project that their grandkids or whatever will work on during the summer, so it's actually not bad timing for that. And then the applications are also available, maybe, here. These are also posted on our website if you guys want to share them with anybody. If you want me to print them and give them to you, just let me know and I can print a bunch and hand them out to you. That's it. And your chalk art competition one, which I don't know where it went. Much the same. So for the chalk art, it's art in the future, and for the films, it's what art means, or how art impacts your daily life. Those are the themes. But I don't need anything approved in my report, just.
Is that it? Thank you. Okay, next meeting, July 12th.
Madam Vice Chair, was it canceled, the July meeting? I thought in the email you said it was canceled, but we do have our budget hearing in here from 8 to 5 that same day.
Right. We, that's right. That's why it happened. We either need to move locations or move the date of the July meeting. I was told that the preference would be to move the date of the meeting, so I need to check your guys' doodle poll. I can make sure to send you guys a reminder. I know.
He already has it scheduled.
But we have a few people that are out for the July meeting. So I'll double check the doodle poll and follow up with you guys on your next meeting.
That'd be good. Thanks.
We'll get done early.
I need a motion to adjourn. Unless there's anything else.
We'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.